Okay, so today I just wanted to go through quickly how you use the Google AdWords tool, and more importantly how you can use it to find keywords or actually the name of your website if you really want to. So first of all, you go into a Google search for Google AdWords and it's called the keyword tool, and you'll be presented with a screen like this. Now essentially you can enter your word or phrase up here and then you can add the captcha and it'll do the search for you. Otherwise, if you are a Gmail account holder, you can actually sign in. You can see that there. So we're going to start our search very simply with a search that's fairly general. And in this case, we're going to do a search for candles. Now, what you'll see that comes up very quickly is that if we search for candles, we've got 5 million global monthly searches and 200 local searches. So the next thing we can do is we can have a look at how many competitors there are in that market. So if we click on the term candles and we go to Google search, we can see we've got 27 million broad matched searches in this particular category. So if we use a couple of exclamation marks like that, we can see that there's actually 152 million people out there competing for the exact term candles. Now that's going to be very, very hard to rank. So what we can then do is we can have a look down here and see what sort of options that we've got. So for example, one of our options could be soy candles rather than just candles. So again, we go to our Google search. We see soy candles has only got 917,000 competing pages. And once again, if we go to exact match, we can find out that there's actually 2.15 million exact match searches, so it's actually worse. So that's not going to help us much. If we look down the list a bit further, we could go across to candle making, for example. And so you can see you've got all these different ideas that you can use to make up niche markets or names for your website. Now I've done a bit of research on this particular subject, so I'm actually going to type in something different. Now soya is actually a bean. It's not actually the correct name for these candles, but you can see that soy candles is a well-used search term. In other words, it's a typing mistake that a lot of people make who aren't involved with the industry probably, because if you were involved with the industry you would know that that was a typing mistake. So again, we go to our Google search and we have a look. We can see there's 1.35 million competing pages. If we search that more carefully, we can see there's 2.15 when we're exact. But if we do one little modification, we can see that that term drops to just 60,400 results. So now we're involved with an area of the market that has got low competition. It's got a good search traffic because our term soya candles has 4,400. And if we just get rid of the S off there and search it again, we can see that we've got 3,600 local searches, 33,000 worldwide. So that's quite healthy, and just shows you how useful the tool can be, particularly if you look for these little spelling errors, and making things plural or singular can make a big difference. Now the other thing that you might like to look at, in this case we've got soya, so we'll explode that out again. And we've got a whole bunch of new terms: soya candle making, soya candles, how to make soya candles. Any one of these could become the name of your website. For example, you could have www.soyacandlewax, for example. So if I reduce that back down again and I decide that's a useful term, I can actually clock on there and Google will actually give me a whole list of other things that I can check that are closely related, or that it thinks are closely related, to the term soya candles. So again, then if we explode these out, we can actually see that we've got some handy little terms that we may actually find are quite useful to us. So let's go to soya wax, and we've got 13.2 million. Let's get rid of the A and see what happens. Only 2 million. Now let's see what happens when we put it to the exact match test. 1.7 million. So you can see we can vary this around quite easily. Main thing to note with that one is we've only got 2,000 odd hits, whereas if we go back to our soya candle search, we've got between 3,600 and 4,400 odd searches. So it's just a useful tool. It's a great way to get names, and more importantly, if you're using your SEO or on-page SEO properly, you want to be using these sort of terms all the way through your website as much as you can, because that gives Google a very good idea as to what your exact website is about. Then you can bring in all sorts of related terms like scented candles, and for example we might try soy scented candles to go on our main site. And again we can see there's 900,000 searches there. If we check the exact match, we find there's 99,000, so again that's below 100,000, which is quite good. But if we have a look at it locally, we're only going to get 260 searches. So it's still worthwhile doing, but it's not going to be a big search term for us. It's just going to be another one that we can add to another page when we're doing our on-page SEO. So I hope this helps, and I hope this helps the people that are trying to find a good, reliable website name, a URL for their website. Thanks.